Welcome to Distortion Analysis, where each episode we discuss various topics, music news, bands on tour, and share album reviews, all focused on heavy metal. Here are your hosts, Sean McKnight and William Rizzo. And we're back for episode 6 of Distortion Analysis.
This episode is brought to you by this gigantic fucking cyst.
Oh my God, you got a giant zit on your head.
Look at it.
Look at that. That's gross.
Revel in its glory.
Oh my God, it is a glorious zit.
You don't know how
it's actually pronounced like that. It juts out of your head.
I'm glad you noticed that, because what happened was, if I stand a certain way in the bathroom and I angle my head against the light, you can see the shadow that it casts on the wall, and it kind of looks like Mount Fuji a little bit. Pretty rad, man.
It's a pretty cool tribute to Mount Fuji on your head there. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. You don't know how badly I want to grab an X-Acto knife and just go.
I think you should let it go and see how big it gets.
Ooh.
And then we could do like a pimple popper episode where you kind of pop it and then like shoots into the camera.
How
fucking metal would that be?
That and some home surgery, and we got it on lock.
What did you think of that album, William? Pow!
Take my explosion of juice.
And explosion of juice is a good intro to our episode here. So in this episode, we just did an interview with an old buddy of mine named Jimi Mitchell. So we're going to be cutting to that as far as our topic for this episode's podcast. And then when we come back from the interview, we'll be back to music news and stuff like that. So, but with no further ado, here is our interview with Jimi. Welcome to Distortion Analysis. Our very first guest, is a good buddy of mine from back in my Relapse Nuclear Blast days. Jimi Mitchell has joined us. Yep, and he is our first guest here, so we're very proud to have him on as our first guest. And so Jimi and I, a little bit of history here. We know each other from when I used to work for Relapse and Nuclear Blast Records. And Jimi, do you miss your days at WMUL?
Yeah, actually, those were fun. It was fun to, do radio back then when metal was considered dead. And, here I was waving the flag, like crazy, going, "It's not fucking dead, assholes."
And this was at Marshall University in West Virginia?
Yeah, Huntington, West Virginia.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. So So I remember those days, and yeah, it was like crazy because like college stations were all over metal, and it was sort of underground at that point because, like you said, it kind of like grunge was taking over and all that kind of stuff. So when did you stop doing? When did you leave the station? Like when were you done there?
1998.
98. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that spring 1998. I finally, I went up to the station manager and said, "Listen, I've got to go work full time. I've got a baby on the way."
Okay, right on. Oh, that's when your son was coming. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he was on the way.
Have you done any radio since then? Have you done anything with radio?
I did a little bit. I went back to MUL for like 2 months in 2002.
Okay.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just to see if I liked it still.
Did you like it still or no?
Not so much. I was like, I did it, and I was like, this just isn't the same. It didn't feel the same. It didn't feel right. And I was going through a lot of shit in my own life at the time. And so I just said, I did a few, and I went to Dr. Bailey and said, "Hey man, get somebody else to do this."
Right on. Well, if you know, you know. So, but I like radio too. It is fun, but I do kind of get that. William, did you want to kick in with a question here?
Sure. I guess I could lead up to the question by way of just kind of a mini introduction, since you know him, you guys know each other very, very well. This is the first time I'm meeting Jimi. So to the listeners, Jimi is an accomplished solo guitar recording artist who recently appeared at NAMM.
Yeah. Talk about that. Yeah.
Who has I don't want to steal your questions, but
no, not at all. You're good. Videos. Go for it.
They're pretty badass, man. Were you demoing equipment, or was it just to promote your music?
It was a combination of all the things. It was, demoing equipment, playing my own music, which is brand new that I haven't even released yet.
Oh, cool.
Because 2 companies brought me out there. Ibanez Guitars and DC Custom Guitars brought me out there to be a part of it. and it was fucking awesome. I mean, I went out there with zero expectation. The only expectation I kind of had was I wanted to play well. That was it. I wanted to play well, and I wanted to meet people. I wanted to make more contacts, more business contacts, and do what I got to do to get some endorsements and shit. That was really
Right.
that was really it. So I went out there and kind of didn't really know what was going to happen, and it ended up being far better than I anticipated, especially the first day I played, because there was a point when it was my turn to get up and play. And I remember the last minute I changed some of the songs because Matt's like, "Hey man, what songs are you going to play?" I go, "What do you think I should play?" He goes, "Well, Zach over here really wants to hear you do power metal." I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I'll play Live to Fight Another Day," which is a coming that's very, very Stradivarius, Gamma Ray, Halloween. I
Mm.
mean, it's my nod to them. It's my tribute to those three bands. Because I remember when I wrote it, I was like, God, this sounds like Stradivarius. Like, and when I sent it to Matt, he was even like, dude, this sounds like the track that didn't make it onto Visions or Destiny. And I was like, cool. So I did that one first. But the next one I did is a new one called The Devil on Your Shoulder. And
Yeah.
that's much more, it's much thrashier. Actually, there's a video clip of me playing it on YouTube, and there's one on Instagram. I think there might even still be one on Facebook.
Mhm.
But when I did that song, the crazy thing is, at one point I'm playing, and I, happen to go up like this and look, and to my left is Ola England from The Haunted,
What?
Oh
No
wow.
kidding.
over to my right is Carl from Nile
Oh wow.
watching, and
Carl
I'm
Sanders?
like, this is fucking crazy. This is weird. It's like I'm just rocking out and going through the motions. And as soon as I stopped, Carl from Nile beelined it over and was like, dude, it was fucking great. I'm like, dude, you're Carl from Nile. He's like, yeah. And we hit it off real, real good right then and there. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, we can do
So cool.
something.
He's a super nice guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw him. I don't. Just been like at least a dozen years ago, and then after the show, he came around through the photo pit, and I was right up against the gate. So I'm
Yeah.
like, Carl, can you tell me what strings you use? What string gauges do you use? Because I don't know. I just like that he was so perfectly intonated.
Yeah.
The guitar was just perfectly set up. And so he rattled off this very esoteric sounding set of string gauges.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it was like a hybrid set that he had put together. It was pretty cool.
How did
Nice.
you
Yeah.
how did you get invited to NAMM in the first place, Jimmy? How did that come to be?
Well, I got a phone call from my buddy Matthew Mills, and he's like, dude, you're going to NAM. I go, I am. Because originally I had originally planned to go anyway, and then looked at my finances and like, there's no way I can do this.
Yeah.
And then Ibanez came through and they pulled me out there, and I was like,
Holy
oh
shit.
fuck yeah, cool.
So
I
Wow.
get to do
so
this.
it was through Matt. So he was just telling you, but they were planning on approaching you the way it sounded.
Yeah, he's endorsed by him. So
Oh, right on.
he was kind of the messenger. He's like, hey man, guess what you're doing? And I
But
go,
but how did
I don't
Ibanez
know.
find out about you? Was that through Matthew? Was that through him?
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say a
okay.
combination of him and just like people on the internet going, dude, check this guy out,
Oh, right on.
So,
Cool.
and I've
That's
played Ibanez guitars off and on since 1995. So, it's like right now I've been playing Fenders for like since 2009,
mhm.
but I do love Ibanez guitars, and I also love Jackson guitars, and
Well, I was gonna say Yngwie Malmsteen was
Oh.
cringing somewhere right now. Just saying.
and
Um,
I have one of his guitars
I
actually.
saw that. I saw that.
Yeah,
You had the cream kind of fender. Um,
yeah.
so what are your biggest influences as a player? Like when did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar when I was 15 in 1990, actually on Christmas.
Oh,
I
cool.
originally started out as a bass player.
Ah.
I wanted to start to be a bass player like Steve Harris. That was
Ah.
my thing. I wanted to do that, and I started out doing that. And I was learning Black Sabbath songs and Maiden songs and Priest and Metallica and Merciful Fate. And eventually I hit a point where I'm like, wait a minute, I need to learn guitar too so I can write my own songs.
Hmm.
And so, it's kind of weird because like most guys I talk to that play the style I do, they typically, were inspired by a virtuoso to begin, what they were doing. And I was the opposite. I was a guy that was playing bass that wanted to play the guitar so I could write my own shit. and then got into the virtuosos a little later on. But when I first started, I was playing Judas Priest songs, I was playing Merciful Fate, I was playing Iron Maiden, Obituary, Death. I mean, Slayer. That's what I was doing originally on guitar, And then in late '93, my buddy Andy Hott and I were talking about Yngwie Malmsteen one day because I had this little cassette called Metal Forces that had Grim Reaper, Priest, Testament, not Testament, Vinnie Vincent Invasion, Metal Church, all this stuff on it. It was a big compilation that K-Tel Records used to put out in the 80s.
I think I kind of remember that.
K-Tel Records.
K-Tel Records.
K-Tel Records. And I remember the song I Am a Viking was the last song on the whole thing. And I was like, dude, that song's amazing. And I was like, the solo and the outro. I said, that's so cool. He's like, dude, I've got an Yngwie Malmsteen video you need to see. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And it was Yngwie Malmsteen live in Tokyo, Japan, 1985. And that was it. I watched that, and I'm like, I remember when the song I'll See the Light Tonight happened and the pedal point bit goes on. I said, that's what I want to do. That was it. I went from there, and over the years I got into a lot of other guys. I got into Tony McAlpine. I got into Paul Gilbert. Of course, Eddie Van Halen's been in my musical DNA for the majority of my existence because my dad played it around me, and as a little kid I wanted to be like Eddie Van Halen at one point. Right. So yeah, and George Lynch and Chuck Schuldiner, and then eventually Joe Stump, who became a friend of mine later down the road. So yeah, I got into all those guys and just kept going. And then as far as the metal part goes, I mean, God, I'm into pretty much every genre of metal except for what they called new metal, which was the whole Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones. That's not for me. For other people, sure. If you like it, great. But it didn't do anything for me. But all the other stuff did.
Right on. Yeah. Go ahead, William. Next question.
All right. Let's see. You already kind of got into it a little bit by talking about the Ibanez connection and the Strat connection, but I was just going to ask you to kind of speak to the equipment that you're using in terms of guitars and amps, and whether do you prefer like true amp, straightforward through the amp, or modeling, or?
I like both. I mean, I really like modeling a lot, because modeling, you can have a device that's no bigger than like that, and wow, you've got every amp sound in that box. That's actually what I've been using for almost 20 years. I use a Zoom G21U, and there's 20 different amplifiers inside of it. And the one that I use the most is a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. Yeah. So like, if I could afford a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, that's what I'd have, but I can't afford one. So, I've used a lot of different amps over the years. I've used Laney, Crate, Randall, Marshall, obviously. What was it? There was one other that I've messed with Black Stars, and I really like those. Okay. Those are good amps. Yeah, Black Stars are really good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like them both. I'm not a diehard loyalist on one or the other. Right. I find, certain things are more convenient, especially for recording, or if, you're going to go do a gig and you've got a buddy that's got an amp, just go, hey dude, you care if I plug this into your amp and use your amp when I play? And they're like, yeah. Or you could just go through the PA. Yeah. Yeah. So either one works. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to lug around an 80-pound combo amp or a head in a cabinet.
And break your back.
Yeah. We're all at the stage now where it's like, no, it's not happening.
No, definitely not. It's funny you say that, because like I watched an interview with Kai Hansen on Instagram a couple months ago, and he was basically giving away all his recording secrets and shit, and talking about, on this new record, we all use the quad cortex. And I was like, instantly I'm like, okay, I'm listening. It's like, well, what's that? Okay, so you're using the quad cortex. And he's like, and he said his amp setting he's using in that is a PV 5150. I'm like, okay, old. Yeah, it's like, that's a good sounding amp. And he said, he goes, don't get me wrong. I miss the days of going on stage and there's a wall of Marshalls behind us. He goes, but we're all old now. He goes, when you've got 7 people on stage, you really can't have all those amps behind you when you're trying to hear everybody, you know? So I get it, you know,
Oh my
it's
God.
like, it's, you
No,
know,
it's
it's
a good
good either way.
solution. It's a great solution. It's amazing because I'm sure you remember when you first started playing
Oh
the
yeah.
the very idea of there being almost like a handheld, almost fit in your pocket type of device that could emulate multiple different amps and do it well.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming.
Me either. I really didn't, because I can remember when well, I remember when Line 6, you know, started coming out, and they were like one of the first companies to really start doing that amp sampling thing in a
Yes.
portable device. And I was like, that sounds amazing, but people would always dog it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're not a real player unless you've got this, you know, Marshall JCM 800 here with this, you know, vintage 412 cabinet. And it's like, who cares? You know, it sounds good. It sounds good. You know,
That's right.
that's
Yep.
basically it. Like, I like something Ingve always used to say was, you know, play with your ears. If it sounds good, and it's good, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm like, okay, that's
Yep.
pretty good advice. You know.
It is. It's a good way to avoid all of the I call them like tone snobs, people who are just
Yeah.
like, oh, not. And you mentioned the 800, the JCM 800 people. They're the worst. Those dudes. Because they think that the 800 circuit is and oh, it's got to be the non-master volume 800, the 2203, whatever the model number is, and it's like, come on, man. There's so many different variants of
Yep.
each model that sound amazing, and it's just you hear what you want to hear.
Exactly. That's true. Actually, I pointed a similar thing out to my buddy Matt when we went to the Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard while we were out there. Um, I go, Matt, look, check it out, man. I was like, look, you got the JCM 800 here, and you got the classic Mesa Boogie right there. And
Yeah.
he goes, okay. I said, here, I'll explain it better. And I go, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets.
Oh,
He
right.
goes, oh, okay. I said, "That's the difference." You know, I said
Yeah.
that amp is what they used on Puppets, and that's the amp that, you know, that's the model that they used on Ride the Lightning. I said, the
Well
difference
played.
is there was a tube screamer. That
Mm.
was it. You know,
Oh,
I
that's
said,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So that was the sound, you know, and it's like, it's so cool because like nowadays you can, with all these, you know, these quad cortexes and nano cortexes and everything they've got, and the helixes and
Yep.
whatnot, you can literally, if you've got a pedal, you got an amp, there's a setting in those to where you can just plug in and it copies everything. And then you can have your sound right there. You can even do it with effect pedals. You can do it
Oh,
with a
wow.
wah, a delay, a flange, whatever you got. You know, it'll
Incredible.
copy it. Yeah, that's nice. It's convenient. It's especially convenient when you're recording in a place like I am, because I record all my music in this room. And you know, this is a 2-bedroom townhouse apartment.
Oh, wow.
And so like I just put headphones on and plug in. And in my
Yep.
head, I hear everything like I'm on a stage.
Yep.
My neighbors don't hear shit. You know?
Right
So
on.
that's the great thing about those technologies is
Mhm.
you can really rock out and not disturb, you know, whoever's next door on the other
Yeah.
side of the wall. You know,
That actually was one of my other questions was for recording purposes, do you choose like an analog recording or do you use a DAW?
I use DAW. Yeah,
Yeah.
I use Reaper. Reaper's my
Uh-huh.
DAW, and I have a Presonus interface. You know, that everything's I plug into that. It's just it's literally it's 2 plugins,
Yep.
and the rest of my setup's actually over on a table next to me. That's it. It's just, I mean, the box is literally no bigger than this. It's about that thick,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, just plug in and go. It's great.
Okay.
Speak.
And then you can adjust everything in the DAW. I mean, like if you want to add more warmth, you can. If you want to EQ it differently to change your tone a bit, you can. You know,
Yes. Yes.
it's beautiful. You know, that's what I like about all this
Very
stuff.
customizable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of mixing and mastering,
yeah.
your song "Hell's in His Eyes." How did you end up working with Ralph Sheepers on that? Who ended up mixing and mastering it? So how did that come to be?
Ralph and I have been friends for about 15 years.
Did you meet him what during the when he's from Primal Fear? Or like how did you guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like we actually got in touch with each other back in the MySpace days.
Oh wow.
And then when Facebook happened, we got, you know, we re-added each other, and I used to send him demos. I used to just be like, "Hey, dude, I love your voice. You know,
No way.
what would I have
Wow.
to do? What would I have to do to work with you one day?" And he told me what, what he normally charges his rate and all. And then the more we talked, we just became friends and we just hit it off. And the singer that's on that song, Nick Seymour, is one of Ralph's students, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it's one of his students. I remember one day I got a phone call from Ralph. He's like, "Hey Jimmy," he's like, I've got a student of mine I think you would really click with." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Tell me all about him." And
Yeah.
he's like, "His name's Nick." He's like, "He's a really good guy. He's got a great range. He's easygoing. He's friendly. He's a good human being." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So, I got hooked up through him. And, when me and Nick did it, I remember I was telling Ralph about it, and come to find out, Nick was also telling Ralph about it. And Ralph messaged me and he goes, "Hey Jim," he goes, "send me the stems of everything." He goes, I want to hear this." So I did. I sent him a mix, just an instrumental mix of the music that I did. And then I sent him all the vocals separately.
Yeah.
And he took all the vocals and everything. And within an hour, he's like, "I'll do what I can." I'm like, "Okay."
Wow.
And an hour later, he's like, "You're gonna love this." And I was like, "Shit!" It's not even an hour, and he did it that fast.
He did. He mixed and mastered that whole thing within an hour.
Yeah, because I'd already had all the guitars, bass, and drum and everything mixed.
Okay.
I just sent him the track of that.
Well, how much did he change? Like when you got it back, was there like a big profound difference like with what he did with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't found out how he re-EQ'd the actual track that had all the guitars and stuff in it, but he made it sound bigger.
No way. Wow.
Bigger.
Nice.
I was like, "Holy fuck, this sounds like Primal Fear." And the vocals,
Surprise,
man,
surprise.
he did such a great job, like just mixing the vocals, and he took certain lines and like, okay, for one, there's a scream in there right after the solo. There's this big scream that Nick does, and then about 5 seconds into the scream, there's an additional scream that's about 3 pitches higher.
Oh,
And what he did was originally it was one big harmony, and he's like, "No, wait a minute." And he took it and he just dragged it over, and it was like and then
Oh,
I was
no
like,
way.
"That's
Get out.
amazing." Yeah,
That's cool.
it sounds
Wow,
great.
that's crazy cool.
creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that was it. That's the one song I've got where me and Ralph both mixed the song. I mixed all the guitars and
Super
everything.
cool.
He mixed all the vocals and put it all in one, and he mastered it. And I was like, "This is amazing." I was like, "Thanks so much." And he's like, "No problem."
That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
How did you end up working with Joe Stump?
Oh, Joe and I go back a ways. I got into him in '96, and then fast forward to around 2009. I did an instrumental song called "The Three Wise Men," and this was before I was using proper drum sampling and everything. I used to just use a drum machine, and drum loops that sounded like shit. They really did. But I was trying to, just make music was all I was trying to do with what budget I had.
Trying to get it done.
So I came up with this idea, and originally it reminded me of Rainbow. I was like,
Ooh.
this the riff I came up with was so Blackmore. And I was like, okay. So I wrote a track, because I remember in the middle of doing it, I go, okay, I'm going to take the big three of, neoclassical that I know of, which was Ritchie Blackmore, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Joe Stump, and make a track tribute, just a tribute to all three of them. And I did it, and I did a really, cheap looking video with Windows Movie Maker on my old computer that I had back then. And I put it out, and my buddy Matthew Mills is like, "Dude, I used to take lessons from Joe, and you really need to send this to him." And I said, "Do you think he'll like it?" He's like, "Dude, trust me, he's gonna fucking love it." And I'm like, "Okay." So he sent it over to him, and he called Joe up and said, "Hey, you need to meet Jimmy Mitchell. He's a big fan of your stuff. He's totally influenced by you. He's a real cool dude." And that was it. We became friends from that.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And ever since then, we have either done shows together, guitar clinics, or he's soloed on my albums. I haven't soloed on any of his, not yet, but we hit it off real well. And it's like he's one of the few dudes that's like in the metal world that is one of my top 5 guitar heroes that I can genuinely say, yeah, I became friends with the guy, and
That's so cool.
it's really fucking cool. So yeah, the new single that I'm going to drop on the 13th of March is my tribute to Joe directly, you
Oh,
know.
cool,
Oh
cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Yeah, I called him up. It was about this time last year. I remember I called him up, and because I wrote the track, and I was like, hey, I called him, hey Joe, I said, I've got a track I wrote completely in the vein of the way you write. I said, I did it as a tribute. I said, would you like to solo? He's like, yeah, sure.
Ah,
And he goes, just tell me where you want me to be. I said, okay. So I had all the spots marked and sent it to him. And a couple of days later, he's like, you're really going to love this.
oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's so cool. Right on.
Yeah. And
William,
I made a point to just really go at it when I did that one.
that's so cool, man. William,
awesome.
you got another question?
Yeah, I would say, what advice do you have for new guitarists, people that
Mm.
are just starting to learn the craft and sit down and practice steadily? What kind of advice would you give them in today's, I don't know, the environment that we're in music wise is not the
Mhm.
same environment that we started in.
Yeah. The thing I would tell them is follow your heart. You know, what you love doing, do it. Practice as often as you can. The other thing is, you know, learn songs by the bands you like. Like sit down and try to figure them out. And if you need to, use tab. Also, when you're having trouble, you know, learning a certain part, maybe get the tab, have someone show you how to read it, and then take a click track, you know, just get a metronome and, you know, get the part down. Even if you got to start it slow, just start it,
Mm,
you know, just get the notes, get the progression the way it's meant to be, practice it to a click till you get it up to tempo, and then just keep going. You know, that's it. Just stay true to yourself, and don't let people tell you how you should play just because well, like Sean would be able to, you know, definitely, you know, comment on this one. When I started playing lead guitar, you know, metal was declared dead. And
Mm.
people were looking at me going, why are you wasting your time with that stuff? Why are you trying to play a bazillion fucking notes? Why are you doing all that flashy 80s
really?
shit? You know,
Wow.
it's not about that anymore. You know, you should just do drop D and you should like shoegaze and be boring. It's like, oh fuck it. Yeah. It's like it wasn't for me, you know. So like, yeah, I would tell any guitar player, you know, play from your heart, play from your gut, and no matter what's popular, just play.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Keep
Yeah.
going, you know. Because once you start, you're never going to stop. You know?
What do you think of the current progressive metal scene like that's kind of happening right now? Because there's, I mean, the classics are still around, like Hammerfall,
Mhm.
Stradivarius, Primal Fear, like all the big those guys are still kind of hanging around. Are
Mhm.
there new bands in that same power metal vein, sort of that classic metal kind of influence vein that you
Uh,
find are kind of on the horizon now?
yeah, actually, there's a few. Over in England, there's this great young band called Tailgunner
Oh,
who
I've heard of them.
popped up on
Yeah,
my radar.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
saw them.
popped up
Yeah.
on my radar like 2 or 3 years ago. And I was just like, holy shit, this is great. These are young dudes wearing black spandex leathery pants, high top tennis shoes, bullet belts, studded wristbands. The lead singer can hit it high. The music is totally a throwback to the new wave of British heavy metal. A lot of Priest, Maiden, Saxon.
Yeah.
That's in there. The Speed's in there. The Halloween's in there. You know, from the German power metal. You got all that going, and then you've got bands like Enforcer from Sweden who have technically been around for about 15, 20 years, but they're still going. You got Evil Invaders out of Belgium. You've got, and here in America, you've got Wings of Steel who
Hmm.
have popped up in the last 2 years. I ran into those guys actually at NAMM, and that was great because I was like, dude, I'm really excited to meet you guys. I said, I fucking love your shit. You know, they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I said, you know, it feels good to know I'm not the only American playing real heavy metal, you know. Of course, they laughed too. Well, we appreciate that, man. I said, how old are you guys? And they told me how young they were, and I was like, I figured. I said, you know, dude, if you ever need a second guitar player, please message me. I'll be glad to join. You know, so it's great stuff. So yeah, there's them, and then oh man, that whole scene. It's like they called it the new wave of traditional heavy metal,
New
and
wave of traditional heavy metal. Oh, that's
yeah, it's what it's called, the new wave of traditional
huh.
heavy metal, which is technically about a 15-year-old scene. But yeah,
Wow.
you
So much
know,
for being new. Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. There's more and more bands that keep popping up, you know.
Right.
And there's a lot of them. I mean, some are better than others. In the power metal thing, I've noticed that like as far as power metal goes, there aren't a whole lot of new ones, but one newer one that is really good is Majestica.
Okay.
They're from Sweden. They're from Sweden.
Uh,
Um, it's Tommy Johansson, who originally had a band called Rain Z, and he'd started that band when he was like 17 or 18 years old, back in around, I want to say 2002, 2003. He was one of these YouTube guys who just, he was an early YouTuber, and eventually, Rain Z, I guess, bottomed out, and he ended up playing for Sabaton for a while.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, yeah, I remember it was around 2016, 2017. There was an announcement that Sabaton, one of their lead guitar players had left the band. And they were going to, start auditioning players. So I sent an audition, and they wrote me back and said, "Hey, we've already got a guy, but we really appreciate, you doing this and never stop." And I was really happy to see it was Tommy that got it. So I wrote Tommy, because Tommy and I have followed each other also from the MySpace days. And I said, "Dude, congrats, man. I'm really glad you got it." I said, "I actually auditioned too." I sent an audition, and he's like, "Oh, cool." So
Right on.
yeah, it worked out. But Majestica, great, great stuff. I mean, if you love Hammerfall, you love Stradivarius, early Sonata Arctica, Halloween, it's all there.
Very cool.
And the spirit of that late 90s power metal is really there, like big time. I'm like, this is awesome. Because I've noticed Japan has a lot of bands too.
Really? Yeah, I saw some of that. I saw there was some Japan
has
bands
a big
there
metal
too.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Japan's got the whole lady metal thing, is what they call it. I was
Lady
like,
metal.
yeah, they call it lady metal.
Huh.
There's a fuckload of bands. There's Love Bites, who are the number one band as far as I'm concerned. There's Hagani. There's a band called Aldius. There's a band called oh fuck, what was it? Oh shit, what is it? It's more of the new metal thing, but it's better than any of those bands. Nemophilia. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's Nemophilia. I mean, it's quite a list. There's a band called Hazaki. Actually,
Wow.
my friend Mato, who used to be one of the lead guitar players in Hagani, she left the band a few years ago, but she just recently joined Hazaki. Hazaki is instrumental neoclassical power metal-y stuff. It's if you like Rhapsody,
Cool.
if you like Stradivarius, if you like Dragon Force, imagine instrumental that. That's
Wow.
it.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's very intense. It's great.
Before I forget to ask you,
Yeah.
why did you do this, and did you send it to them? And what I'm inquiring about is the Star Wars tribute to John Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
what inspired that, other than just, obviously Star Wars, hello. But I mean,
yeah.
what inspired that for you to form that? And did you send that to him to check out?
The Star Wars track, I did that just because, number one, I love Star Wars, and I've always thought, man, it'd be really cool if somebody did a tribute to Star Wars and John Williams and did different bits, other than just the Force theme. Because like I've seen plenty where people just play the Force theme.
Right.
You see plenty of that, but
Yeah.
I was like, I want to pick some other ones, and so I did my own take on it and just put it on the internet, and it went boom for a little bit.
That was great. It's a great track. Did you happen to
Thanks.
send it to John Williams to get him to hear it?
No, I never did, but I know that some people had talked about doing it.
You should.
I've done a few covers that I have yet to release.
Dude, you should send it off to them. I mean, he might like that. That'd be cool. So I'm just saying, if you got a
I'll be
response.
honest with you, I need to remix it, because
Oh,
that's one
okay.
thing I've learned is that, like, okay, I'll be honest with you. When I mixed that one, I didn't pan any of the guitars.
Oh, they're all straight
Yeah,
centered.
yeah, it's all, everything was centered
Oh,
all the way
wow.
through.
Okay.
And I need to go back and I need to widen the range
Yeah.
a
Gotcha.
lot.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, he'll appreciate that more for sure. A better mix.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
like it's a cool tune. It
It's a
just
great tune.
needs the oomph. I've thought
Yeah.
about that. I've got another track that's actually called "Servant of Darkness." I've only got half the vocals on it. I need to get it finished, but that one's the next thing as far as Star Wars goes. I've got another one too called "The Force." So like I've written a few
Cool.
things that have to do with Star Wars.
Very good. Hey, man, it's all good by me. William, we got anything else?
You're talking about my favorite of all the tunes that Sean was kind enough to forward over to me, The Force is
Yeah,
definitely my favorite jam.
thanks.
Sean knows that I like to take a lot of notes when I listen because I can't remember shit.
Mhm.
I have excellent Gallop verse riff, total maiden. Uh, the chorus is melodic as hell. Sick melodic death outro riff.
Yeah,
You mentioned being influenced by Chuck and Death, and I totally
yes.
heard that. And
Yeah, totally, dude.
that melody that you're laying on top of the chorus, man.
Yeah, I love those kinds of things. It's like, you know, Chuck was a big influence on me from, the get-go, because like I always loved the fact that like Chuck would, for one, when he did all harmonies, they were always in sevenths or octaves.
Hmm.
And I thought that was really cool because like, he didn't do the traditional Maiden, Halloween, Queensryche type thirds, fourths,
Birds.
fifths
Yeah.
and all that. It was always sevenths or octaves. And I thought that was a really cool approach that he took. And also the way he would play his riffs. I mean, if you really think about it, when you look at them just as they are, they're not too different from a Slayer riff, a Kreator riff, or even a faster Metallica riff.
Mhm.
But he had a certain way he did things and the way he thought that really just stuck with me. I like the fact that as he kept going, he kept evolving.
Yes.
you know, he kept going. He got more and more melodic, and he definitely fell more into more of a what they call a prog metal kind of thing. Was more like Dream Theater fans could relate more to the later Death records, probably more so than Leprosy or
Of
Spiritual
course.
Healing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
but it's great stuff. I mean, all of it's great. And I love this Control Denied project too. That was
Just gonna
good.
ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Where
good. Him and Tim Amar.
do you have anything else, William?
Nope.
Where can people find your work, Jimmy? And we're gonna put up links and stuff here in the show too. But where can people find your stuff?
Right now, you can find one YouTube. The other, if you want to like buy the stuff or just stream it, you can do that on bandcamp.com, just under the name Jimi Mitchell. And then also, let me see here. I've got some of my older stuff on Spotify, and eventually I may have to take that unfortunate plunge and do some of those songs on Spotify just to get more listens.
Hmm.
Uh,
Um, I'll be honest, I am not a fan of the way Spotify treats artists.
Me
yeah.
neither. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. I
Yeah.
don't think it's right that they take everybody's money. But yeah, jimmymitchell.bandcamp.com is the Bandcamp site. I had to go back and look.
And we'll send people to your YouTube channel and stuff too. So
Yeah.
so let me see. There was one last thing I want to say. Where people can find. Oh yeah. Is there any plans for you to tour? Like with Joe
Uh,
Stump or like with any of the, to
oh,
get
good
on the guitar
question.
tour thing or anything?
yeah, actually, a bunch of us have actually, ever since NAMM, we've all been calling each other and going, all right, it's 2026. We've got to do gigs. So now we're all trying to figure out where and when. So that's all in the planning is just, who's going to play with who. Because I'm going to be doing, well, Dean Cassioni and I are going to be doing some stuff together. So we definitely want to do some gigs. Me and Joe are, going to eventually do them. Me and Matt Mills are going to do them. I just reached out to another friend of mine. She goes by Sacred Victoria.
Hmm.
She lives down in Nashville. Wicked shred guitar player. Just really cool. So yeah, I mean, right now everything's in the planning. No,
Cool.
nothing's been set in stone yet, but when it is, I'm definitely gonna, let the communities out there know.
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta come out to Portland, Oregon, man. There are tons of venues out here for you.
Awesome, dude.
Portland loves
Yeah, I,
metal,
I
so there's
definitely want
some
to do that.
there's some good metal venues out here, man. So just saying, just let me know and
Cool.
I'll connect. I'll point you in the right direction.
Cool, man. Yeah, and I'm hoping, some of these endorsements can come through so I can also do clinics because I love
Oh,
doing
cool.
clinics. Clinics are basically a show in a guitar shop.
Right.
you know, like you're just hanging out in a guitar store with some people that like guitar stuff, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to play this song."
Yeah.
Afterwards, if you got questions, feel free to ask. I'll
Right
tell you
on.
what I'm doing.
It's like,
It's like,
getting paid to hang out and jam.
yeah, it's like I love watching all those old videos, like Paul Gilbert. There's
Mm.
Uh,
one video from like 1987 or 88 that he has. This is, Racer X days. Actually, it
uh,
was Racer
Oh
X
yeah.
going into Mr. Big. There's this one clip. If I find it, I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
Where people are asking him, "Hey man, what did you do to get better and do this and do that?" And he goes, "I did this one thing where he goes, I made a point to memorize every spot where F is." And what he does is he goes, here, I'll show you the lick. And he goes, you do it from top to bottom. And he goes, like that when he does it. I'm like, what the fuck? And his hand the whole time just goes, oh, like that. And it's like, and like, he goes, here it is slow. F, 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 F. Like that. I'm like, what the hell? I showed my son that. And he's like, what? Because my son plays too. It's like,
Oh, cool.
my son's a guitar player as well. He doesn't do the exact same thing I do. He's more into like the modern proggy stuff that's out
Oh,
there,
Mhm.
and a lot of the hardcore that's out there. Like
Mhm.
he loves Periphery and Coheed and Cambria and stuff like that. So he
Okay,
does a
gotcha.
lot of that kind of thing on guitar.
Right on.
He's
you're
really
a
good
Ghost
at
in a
it.
Posse fan?
Oh yeah, he loves that. And another thing too is his thumb. He was over here one day, like anytime he comes over, he's like, "Dad, where's your guitar?" Like, he does that all the time. He's like, "Hey, Dad, where's your guitar?" And I'm like, he has a great sense of humor, but he grabs my guitar and immediately the first thing that he's retuning it, immediately. I'm like, all right. And he sits there and he starts playing all these pieces. Like he did one where he took his thumb and wrapped it over the neck and still had enough room with these to create the rest of the chords.
Oh,
And then
that's
while
sick.
he's doing it, he's doing all these tapping things and creating this really complex melody that was beautiful. I'm like, holy shit. It's like somewhere on
Damn,
my phone, I've got video of him doing that stuff, and it's
that's
just
cool.
crazy to watch. I'm like, where'd you figure that out? I never did.
Really took the ball and ran with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely went his own path, and I'm proud of him for it because
The
you
student has
know,
become the teacher.
yeah, he does really well, with that. And he records, from time to time. I'm like, come on, man, do some more. I want to hear it. Get
Right
some
on.
stuff out. He's like, in time. You know.
Right. Well, there's the
So,
future of metal right there.
oh
So,
yeah, that's one thing that's good about metal is that it won't go away.
mm-mm.
It doesn't go away. The
Nope.
older you get, it's a generational thing. It's like we get into it, and then our kids get into it, and then your grandkids get into it. And it's
Yeah,
like it just keeps going, and I
it's
love
evolving.
that.
100%.
It's a
Uh,
great thing to be a part
I
of.
wanted to share one last thing because you were
Mhm.
you were talking about Gilbert.
Yeah.
One of the observations I had listening to all your stuff, it said, sounds like something Mike Varney would have put out on Shrapnel Records.
Oh,
Mm,
cool.
I hope you
Thanks.
take that as a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love all that old
good
stuff. It's
description.
like
Yeah.
it's great. I will tell you this. Do you remember Leviathan Records?
Mm-hmm.
David Chastain?
Yep.
When I
Ah,
when I when I did my very first demo LP in 2004 into '05, at the end of like in the middle of '05 is when I finally did my own releasing it thing where I went to Kinko's and did a bunch of, Xeroxed a bunch of album covers and
yep,
clipped them out and went to big and small lots and bought trays upon trays of CD jewel
yep,
cases
yep.
and put it all together and sold them, and went to shows and threw them out at people and shit. I sent that to Metal Blade, Nuclear Blast, Century Media, Shrapnel, and Leviathan. And lo and behold, David Chastain wrote me back. He's like, dude, my record company doesn't exist anymore, but I would have signed you. And I was like, damn
Oh,
Oh,
it.
shit. Oh, man.
It's like,
That's a
damn
nice,
it.
yeah, but I know it sucks, but it's a nice validation.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I
So,
mean, for that, especially for that time, because that was, '05. So it's been 21 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And, I was like, well, it's good to know that, that guy thought that I was good enough.
yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
Nuclear Blast thought I was good enough too. They said, you're really good. We like what you're doing, but we want to hear more from you in the future. So please don't hesitate to send something to us in the future. And
Yeah.
somewhere in my collection of shit, I've still got the actual letter. And
Uh,
I never heard back from anybody else.
yeah, but that's really cool though, man. You took a
Yeah,
shot at it, and yeah. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, Jimmy. We'll wrap it up there. We'll put all your information in here, and yeah, and hopefully people will find you through the show.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate the support, man. And it was good to talk to you again.
You
We'll
too,
have to talk
brother.
again too.
So
We need the sound
we need
effect of
like a
that.
news, yeah, like a
Yeah.
news ticker kind of thing. So in music news this week or this episode, I saw that the Melvins and Napalm Death are joining forces to collaborate on an album called Savage Imperial Death March, coming out on April 10th on Ipecac Recordings, which is Mike Patton's label from Faith No More and Mr. Bungle. But yeah, I thought that was crazy to hear that I know they toured together and played together before, but I mean that they're doing like something like this big collaboration, I think is really interesting.
They have. They've always been like fans of each other, so it's
Yeah.
nice to see them be able to come together and do this. I watched the video for that song.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and the music is fantastic. It's
I
so
think I-
crazy to hear because it's what's his name? Dale Crover,
Yeah.
Buzz, is that
King
his
Buzzo.
name?
Yeah, King Buzzo.
Buzzo, King Buzzo, and then Shane and Barney from
Yeah.
Napalm. So it's weird to hear like that in specific combination of instrumentation.
So it's like a super group between the two of them. It's not all the
Yeah.
members, it's just like those members that come together.
Yeah, and
And
one of the people commenting was like, it eerily sounds like a Melvinized Napalm Death or a a napalmed out Melvins.
Who's singing? Is it Buzzo or is it Barney or both?
On the one song I heard, it was Barney.
Barney. Is he doing growly or clean vocals or both or what's he doing?
It's mostly like growling, like the
Okay.
screaming that he does.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if he was
No,
doing
but
because I
it
was gonna.
totally works.
Okay, cool. I have to go back and listen to it. I've not listened to it yet. I was just kind of reading about it. So, but
Yeah.
you think it does work then it doesn't sound like it's a messed up combination.
No, no, no. They were right to do this.
Right on. Okay,
Yeah.
so I have to check that out. I also saw Loudness have announced a tour for their 45th anniversary this coming summer. That's
That's
crazy.
incredible.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
I mean, to be around since 80, 81
Right?
and be able to pull off a large scale tour like that, not just a few select dates.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that one? I think the guitar player is the only original member, right?
I think that's true. Yeah. Is it Kira Takasaki? Is that his name? I forget. I
I don't
forget.
remember the name.
Yeah, I forget his name. Hang on, let me look that up because I want to get that name right. Loudness guitarist. Yeah, it's yeah. When I heard that, I was like, I couldn't believe that they were doing. I was really surprised that they were doing that. But then just to see them, yeah, Kira Takasaki. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's still the only original member. But yeah, they've been around since '81. And are you a big Loudness guy?
I'm not actually. I've
Okay.
kind of watched them from a distance, which it doesn't make sense because if I had been exposed to that stuff back when I was into thrash and power metal and stuff like that, I would have been a fan. But I don't know. There was just so much music around. It was
Yeah, I know.
hard to get into
I
everything.
I got into them in the beginning when they first came out, but then they kind of drifted. I sort of drifted away from them. So it was kind of like what you said. There was just so much volume of music; it's hard to keep up with everything. And then
Yeah.
and they're from
Well,
Japan
plus
and
they
stuff,
have
so
like
it's like
what, they
what's
have like
that?
26 or 27 records that they've made.
I think it was something like that. Yeah, like it's
So that once you go past like 10 records, you're a prolific artist.
pretty much. Yeah,
You know?
I'd say so. Yeah. Um, Now, interestingly, Ellefson, originally, of course, of Megadeth fame, is now playing bass in Metal Church, and for their new
Yep.
album, and they, of course, they have this new video for Brainwash Game, which I saw, and I thought it was like kind of classic Metal Churchy, but it was kind of interesting to see Ellefson playing with
Yes.
them.
Oh, yeah.
So, what
It
did you think
sounds
of
great.
that?
It sounded great. Another band that I never got into that, like I got into like Testament and Forbidden and stuff like that. I mean that like Metal Church would have been like right up there.
Yeah, same here.
So I'm glad that he kind of landed on his feet
Yeah,
because I don't understand. I don't know, like the whole Megadeth thing. Just like we talked about that in a previous episode. I'm so over the Dave versus Dave crap. It's
yeah,
nice to see him being able to like spread his wings with a different group of people,
yeah. I agree with that.
and
I,
they're totally locked in.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he seemed like he fit. Like it didn't seem weird. It was interesting to see him in the video because he kind of stands out because it's him. You know what I
Yes,
mean? But not in a way that I thought felt weird. He seemed like he belonged with the band. So it did,
totally.
it seemed like it worked out. So, but it was just
Well,
interesting to see him in there because it feels like he's almost like cheating on Megadeth in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he's obviously not in the band anymore, but and it doesn't sound like that's ever going to happen again because of that rift between the two of them. But you know, with whatever happened, but yeah. So, but yeah, I thought it was cool, and I thought the song was good.
Yes.
So
Yeah. As far as modern metal goes, I mean, you can't do uh much better than that.
yeah. So look for Brainwash Game by Metal Church with Dave Ellefson. I also saw that Nevermore has kind of regrouped now and has signed with my old label, Nuclear Blast, which is also now they have another branch called Raining Phoenix Music, which is kind of another branch of Nuclear Blast, I think.
I think
So
I've
they
heard,
they have a
yeah.
new singer now, new label. There's a little bit of controversy because again, you know, replacing Waldane kind of a big deal, right? So
Okay.
like, how do you replace him? So it's one of those things where there was a lot of like, they're gonna be able to pull this off, but I don't know. It seems like they are. I mean, they're getting ready to do a tour, and they're releasing new albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
Well,
they're making a comeback.
we we talked about the replacement of essential members in bands before.
Yeah,
And I kind of think we kind of came to the general consensus that not everybody can be replaced,
right.
obviously. So it's a gamble.
Hmm.
Some bands have pulled it off, and I would put, them in with that crowd.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also partially what happened with Queensryche, because when Jeff Tate left the band, it was like, well, how do you replace Jeff Tate? But then they did, and he's
Yeah.
great. And the new singer, and well, he's not new anymore, but the singer that's in
Right.
there now, he nailed. Like a friend of mine that was a big Queensryche fan went to see them right after the new singer joined, and I was like, how'd it go? And he's like, I didn't even notice a difference. He goes, it was just like,
Wow.
I mean, I mean, obviously there's a difference, but he fit the shoes of Tate, which is like
Yeah.
those are pretty big shoes to
Huge
fill.
shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they pulled it off, and they seem to be doing okay without Jeff
Mhm.
Tate. So there you have
Yep.
it. Yeah.
We said the same thing about Alice in Chains,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Absolutely.
We said the same thing about how AC/DC pulled themselves back together for
Yep.
Back in Black. So,
Yeah. Some bands make it work. So I guess it looks like Nevermore's on that path too. Did you have anything else in music news?
um, yeah, something weird that I came across. Apparently, Phil Anselmo, there was some kind of a rumor going
I
around that
saw
he was
this. Yeah.
sick and he had some kind of cancer. And
Yeah.
then he came out, he was like, "Don't listen to that crap. That's just a bunch of rumors made up by what I guess I
AI or
guess
something.
AI.
Yeah.
AI generated fucking rumors. How fucking wrong is that?
I know, right?
To
It's scary.
slander someone who, I mean, first of all, you don't fuck with Phil. It was
Yeah.
all premise. I mean, unless you have like a death wish, but it I don't know. I like we've talked about the encroachment of technology. We've talked about in previous episodes like AI in music, AI as authors of music, but to have this AI, it's not even bots doing it. It's like what they call it, an AI swarm or something,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
where I mean, it's basically able to use learning models that are plugged into it to help it figure out how to adapt to changing circumstances and come up with this content
Yeah.
that's just complete fabrication.
Bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. I saw all the comments of people freaking out that he was sick and
Yeah,
all these things. And then I saw that video that you're talking about where he came out. I think I saw it on Instagram because I follow him on there. And he's like, okay, I want to address this. This is bullshit. I'm not sick.
yeah,
You can see I'm perfectly fine. I'm working on the new Down album. We're mixing that. So I mean,
right.
so he went through this whole thing about what he's up to, and I'm like, he looks perfectly fine. Like, where the hell did this even come from? But he was like, it was AI. So I was like, Jesus Christ, man. So now we got to deal with that, where
I
we have
know.
like false rumors of that shit coming out, and then and he looked exhausted. He looked like he had been like answering comments and stuff for like, are you serious? He has to deal with this bullshit. So it's like it's got to be frustrating for somebody like that when they're dealing with those kind of rumors.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know what we can even do about it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how the
Hopefully,
future.
there's just a collective realization from everyone that's just like, I'm going to not believe anything I read on the internet until I see it on
Yeah,
multiple spots and,
yeah,
the
some
normal
form of
verification.
validation. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Okay, so Phil Anselmo is fine. So
he's totally cool.
just to let everybody know that. All right, so that means we are moving over into our album review of the episode. And this was my pick this week. I went with Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings from 1998, which is
Wow.
actually an album I promoted for Nuclear Blast when I was working there. And I also helped
Okay.
coordinate the tour that they did with Death. So it was Death and Hammerfall that year. I helped coordinate that tour. So this was kind of like, and I wanted to do Hammerfall this time because of Jimi, because our interview with him, he's such a
Well,
big
sure,
power
yeah.
metal guy. And, I thought this was an appropriate album for that.
I
So
figured that was intentional, yeah.
that was intentional. Yeah. So what's the lowdown? What do you think?
Uh,
So you're saying here,
we each have
two-sided,
our notes.
two-sided. Yep.
Uh, I read a tidbit about them that their first album debuted at number 38 on the German music charts when it came out. The debut album, and apparently that had never happened before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Glory to the Brave album.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So apparently, like right out of the gate, it did real fucking well. And then they, did whatever touring in support of the album, and then they went and recorded this thing, right?
Yeah.
So 1998. But man, all I have, most of my notes are repeats of the same words over and over again. Maiden, Priest, Queensryche, Fate's Warning.
Oh yeah.
Not that these are bad things.
No.
It's just I mean, it's definitely complimentary. But it's definitely a branch of metal that I never really got into very heavily.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, and again, this is another example of had this come along when I was listening to more of like the speed metal and thrash metal stuff and really like digging into that stuff, I would have been a fan for life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
I
now,
think it just,
now, how does it resonate with you? Do you find it like, is it hitting home, or you're still not? It's still kind of lukewarm for you, or it sounds
oh yeah.
repetitious, or like where do you land with it now?
It sounds great. Like, I mean, the production is top notch.
Yeah, totally.
And the playing, there's a lot of talent. And I like it. It's not something that I would personally go out and buy, but it's definitely something that I would pull up on YouTube and play.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh yeah.
If I just want some metal playing in the background, this would be in the top 5 of the contenders. And man, I gotta tell you, the song Remember Yesterday,
Yes. Yes.
I must have played that song 20 times. That's my favorite.
Such a good song, right? Yes, I love that song.
Man, it's like it says great guitar intro, but it's totally Queensryche. Listen to the first line when he sings, can you tell me why it seems so hard to carry on? And he does that. Can you tell me why it seems so, he's doing the whole Jeff Tate thing, man. And it's just, it worked.
Yeah.
So as
That's
the ballad,
that's like that power ballad where everybody holds their phones up and goes like this now. So everybody does that.
oh,
Instead of holding
yeah,
up the lighter.
because
So,
nobody has
yeah.
a lighter.
Nobody has a lighter anymore, so that's what they do now. So it's the phone. So, but that's one of those songs where you hold up the phone and do that.
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah. But I enjoyed it, man. Everything was just so crisp and well recorded, and
Yeah, it's very clean. It's super clean. Yeah, the production's super clean.
Yeah. What else do I have here? At the End of the Rainbow,
Yep.
which is up to that. Clearly, someone here is a tone nerd. I'd love to know how they mic this. Everything is so clear.
Mm. I wrote down for that one, feels like a song Dio would guest on and has a dark, foreboding tone to it. Right?
Yeah. No, that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It just Motorhead I got on one of these on back to back.
Back to back. Yeah, back to back. I have I have this is the montage song you play when preparing for battle. So because at one point he goes, kill with power, and then just before he rips into the lead. So I was like, fuck yeah. I was like grabbing my Viking gear. I was grabbing, and I wanted an axe, and grab an axe and a shield. Let's fucking do this, So I was ready to rock with that song. So yeah.
Yeah. Now there wasn't a bad song on this entire album.
Yeah. I thought, for me, the first song, Heeding the Call, the way it kind of hits right out of the gate, you're already like, okay, I'm in. It's kind of like
Yeah.
that the galloping guitar kind of thing, and you're just kind of like in. It's got this whole great like real dual driving guitar kind of feel to it. I like that sort of
Mhm.
chunkiness with with the guitar thing that they were doing. And what I thought was one of the things interesting about that first song is that it's only about 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, but it feels like it's a big epic song, right?
Yeah. It
So I
feels
mean,
longer.
yeah, it feels longer, but not in like a dragging out bad
Right.
way. It just feels
Right.
like
Right. Right.
grandiose, like it's this big, just sweeping song. So I thought that was really cool.
Let me
Um,
ask you, let me throw a question out
yeah,
for
yeah.
for that song. This is going to sound weird, but I heard in the chorus, I heard Pachelbel's Canon in D.
Oh, I wouldn't be. I don't know if I caught that, but I would not be surprised that was in there.
Go back and listen to it
I'll have
when
to
you
go
get a
back and
minute,
listen to that. Yeah.
just
Okay.
so I know I'm not crazy and thinking that I kind of
That's
hear.
it. That's in the middle of. That's in there somewhere. I have to go back and
Yeah,
listen to that. Okay.
it's
It's like
like
a.
the
It's
strains
a,
of it. It's speeded up, obviously,
okay.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
original
yeah.
classical piece
I'll
is
go back and
slower, but
listen to that. I'll have to listen to that.
yeah.
So and also I was listening to the title track Legacy of Kings, and let me see. I have down here that this should be on a soundtrack with some warriors battling in a field somewhere in cold, grassy, wet grass. Very wet grass.
Okay, well,
So it's just what I was picturing when I heard that
get the
one.
hose out. Gonna wet that grass down a little bit.
Let me see here. What else did I have? Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of like I felt a lot of like battle stuff here. Like Dreamland felt like a something you would march to
Yeah.
if you were forming like battle lines and shit like that. So I just feel like
Mhm.
I feel my inner Viking come out with these guys. The only thing that I thought was let me see, what was it? Warriors of Faith and what was it? Stronger than is it stronger than
All.
yeah, stronger than all. Those songs I thought those are the only two that I kind of felt they sounded sort of like they didn't really need to be on the album. They kind of felt repetitious to me in a way. Like it was just kind of like filler songs. Now I'm not judging them. I'm just kind of felt they kind of felt that way. Every other song really kind of had some sort of pronounced thing to it, where those two kind of felt like, meh, they didn't need to necessarily be on here. Not in a bad way, but they just kind of felt like songs that, like sort of
Right.
very repetitious to me.
They weren't as
But
strong as the other twos.
yeah, and then but the way it ends though, with Fallen One was amazing. That's the one with the great piano intro. His vocals just kind of soar on that in the beginning, and then it goes into this powerful arrangement that I thought was just beautifully written.
Yeah.
So,
There's a
so
strong way to close the
oh,
record.
oh, I thought that was an amazing way to close. Yeah. So, but that's what I mean. That like you get past those two other songs, which feel kind of boilerplate, and then you get back to that, you're like, holy shit, there's that kind of grandiose
Yeah.
thing that that they delivered on the other song. So,
I got that vibe a little bit of the last 2 to 3 songs. What I got out of it was I really, I guess how I coped with that was I just focused on the guitar tone, and I kept hearing Richie Faulkner from Priest.
Yeah.
His
Yep.
current up is just bananas
Oh, I
in
love his
terms of
stuff.
how
Yeah, he
good it
sounds
sounds.
amazing. Yeah, he sounds
And
amazing.
yeah, and that's what the guitar tracks sound like on those songs. I'm like, man, this is like listening to Richie play.
Right on. I can hear that. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, I wrote down Judas Priest and I mentioned a couple things to that, they definitely hit those marks a bit with the
Yeah.
guitar stuff, especially. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else on Hammerfall Legacy of Kings?
I didn't know they were from Sweden.
Yeah. Yep. Swedish band. Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah. All right. That wraps us up there. And now we are on to the mystery band. And again, this is my choice. Now, just FYI, I did go back and listen to Modred in this life.
Oh, yeah.
So just so you know, from 1991, and I wrote down some notes on this one. Now I won't do the whole review, but here's my overall notes. Right,
All right.
um, dirty, nasty punk metal,
Yeah.
a band you'd find in a club next to a porn theater in Times Square in 1979.
I
But
love it.
but yet complex and dare I say progressive too. Like that second song, the way it starts with the bass, I'm like, holy shit, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
So, but I was
Yeah.
like, God damn, those guys can play. But the hooks were interesting. It was very unique. And I
Mhm.
just thought it was something that, why did I not hear about this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I mentioned last time that I only knew about it because I think I caught it on WSOU.
Oh, okay, that's it. So they never really got anywhere.
No, I mean, I remember hearing the song Falling Away
Yeah,
uh, a couple times on the radio, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go buy that album. And I felt like that was the strongest song on the record.
yeah.
I mean, it's no slouch, and it's definitely very distinctive for its time.
Oh, for sure. Like that's one of the things that it stood out to me like crazy, just the style of it. And it's like this mixture of like kind of metal and punk, and but it's got this dirty, nasty kind of like bluesy thing going on at the same time.
Yes.
And it just feels gritty, but also like you just want to listen to like more of it. Like
Yeah.
I wanted more, so I just thought it was really cool. Um,
Well,
now you had a chance to listen to Grief now, right? Zeal and Ardor.
oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
I think I drunkenly
I didn't
listened
get to
to.
talk to you, but I just know you listened to it. So, and I know
Yeah.
you seemed excited about it. So, what'd you think?
Oh, it's well, I'm trying to think back to it now. I mean, it's very modern sounding,
Right.
obviously, but
Yeah.
the tightness is on another level
Yeah.
in that music. And I watched a live clip
Oh
of
yeah.
one of the shows after I listened to the record, and they're crowd killers, man.
Oh dude, I saw them. Yeah, they're incredible live.
Oh,
Incredible.
really?
Yeah, I saw them here in Portland. So yeah, incredible live, man. I saw them here at the yeah at the Wonder Ballroom. But yeah,
Yeah.
they I really wanted to go out and seek them out because they were just so good when I saw them.
They're the way that they put together their music is just different enough to help them stand out,
Yeah.
but it's similar enough to a lot of the other proggy stuff, like what we were talking
Yeah,
about,
100%. Yeah.
Jimmy, that it like fits in with that genre of it.
Yeah, it doesn't come off as like being pretentious,
No,
right?
no, not at
It's
all.
like
It's all
honest
heart,
and feels very
all heart,
grounded and yeah, for sure.
totally.
Cool. I just want to see if you had
Yeah.
listened to it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I got my mystery band for you this week. Is actually another band from the 90s. They had one album, kind of like Mordred. I don't know if you heard of them or not, but it's a band called LSD, Life, Sex, and Death.
I've heard of it.
Okay. There's an album called, they only have one album called The Silent Majority. Okay,
Okay.
so that's your assignment to listen to that before the next episode. Okay, so that's your mystery band. And we'll talk about them more then because I know all about that band. I've seen them like 4 times. I know their history. I'm a huge fan of that album. And it kills me that they never got anywhere because they came out like 90, 91 somewhere. And they came out right when grunge was starting to take off, and like sort of the hard rock stuff was kind of getting crushed by grunge. So their
Yeah.
timing was bad, and they had this big contract that they signed and stuff, but they had this combination of kind of these two things that were against them. One, the scene shifting, but then secondly, they had this really unique singer named Stanley. Now, I'll elaborate more, the next time we talk, but basically Stanley was kind of like it's a guy named Chris Stan who was actually he had played with the guitarist before when they were still playing in Chicago. And what they decided to do was this sort of gimmick, though. So they made this character called Stanley, and he was sort of the story goes was that the band was recording in the studio one day, and then Stanley kind of wandered in from the street, and he was this homeless guy, and then they kind of had him sing, and then he became part of the band. So that's kind of the story. Now the persona, though, they played it up like crazy. Like they made him really homeless. Like I saw them, like I said, 3 or 4 times. I was right up front. I saw them at Dobbs in South Philly, and I saw also at TLA, the Theater of Living Arts in South Philly. And every
Yep.
time I saw them like twice at each venue thing. Every time I saw them, I was right up at the stage, and Stanley stank like hell. You could smell him like like 10 feet away. He just because he never bathed, he played up the role of being homeless. So before they would play, he would be sleeping out by the dumpster while the band was in the green room. He would be like stalking up and down South Street, like terrorizing people. They'd be like freaked the fuck out because they thought he was some homeless whack job. And then he'd go in and sing and then play on stage with them. So and he did these crazy
Whoa.
dances and stuff. So I think they were trying to bank on the persona of him just making him different. But
Yeah.
then people didn't. I don't think they got it, and I think if anything, they found it off-putting. So I thought it was an interesting gimmick. I mean, the smell was a bit to deal with, but the son of a bitch, man, he is like, wait till you hear his voice. and he does this like a cappella stuff. He plays piano, and he's just like this amazing singer. He's got this gritty bluesy kind of voice to him. And and if you get a chance, try to look up. They have a video called Tank. You can also there's another video called Schools for Fools. You can find both on YouTube. So if you look them up and just watch the videos, you'll be like, oh, that's the guy that Sean was talking about in Stanley. So look up Life, Sex, and Death. And again, the album is called The Silent Majority.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it down. That's crazy that he kind of hammed it up for the camera, so to speak, but
Yeah.
kind of living the.
But he really lived it. Yeah. He was like, it wasn't, nobody ever caught him faking it. Like they never caught him like out of character. He was always, no matter what, he was Stanley. Yeah. So, and I saw him like, I was watching behind the scenes, the whole thing, and he was always in character. So, but yeah, people were freaked out by him. So I think so. Well, they're really good musicians and the songs are catchy, and you're going to appreciate some of the lyrics, especially for two of the songs I think you'll find interesting will be Big Black Bush and also fucking shit ass. I think you're going to find both of those songs very compelling. so
All right.
you'll know why when you hear them. So
I'm already hooked.
Yeah, fucking shit ass and Big Black Bush. Two of the hits.
I know I've heard that name before.
Well, you probably did when back in the 90s because they swung through Philly like 3 or 4 times, like I said. So you may have been in the scene around that time when they were kind of floating around, touring. So that might have been why you heard of them. So because they were like kind of like Mordred where they never really got anywhere. They just didn't get any traction. And I think again the Stanley thing and then just the timing. But unfortunately, yeah, they just never got anywhere. So
and what year was this now?
It's like 90, 91, somewhere in there.
Oh, early.
Yeah, early. Yep. So yeah, right when grunge was taking off, that's when they hit. But then
could have been that I came across them via Headbangers Ball.
That's entirely possible because they were playing Tank on there a bit. So I don't think they're playing Schools for Fools, but they were playing Tank a bit. So that might have been where you saw them.
Okay.
All right. So there we go. All right, last thing, wrapping up with live shows and tours that we are keeping up on. I saw that Amon Amarth and Dethklok are teaming up for a tour in 2026 called the Amonklok Conquest.
Do you know how many people are going to go to those shows? They're going to be sold out shows, man.
Big time.
Because Amon Amarth is like one of the most popular.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah. They're huge.
Death metal-ish type of bands. So yeah, and I mean, Dethklok gets a lot of respect too, especially because of the tie-in with what is it?
Metalocalypse.
Yeah,
with the cartoon. Yeah,
yep,
yeah. I've watched every episode of that like twice. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of that show.
Nice.
Have you watched it?
No, I've seen clips. I've seen a couple clips.
Dude, you gotta watch that show.
Yeah, I know. You know how many people have told me that?
You are gonna love that show so goddamn much. You have to start watching it. It's I think you can catch it on HBO. Just watch it from the first episode on back. You will get hooked on it immediately. You will want to watch every episode. I'm telling you. One for the music because the music's awesome, but then secondly, it's hysterical. And it's so metal. It's so metal. You will love like the themes in it. Oh my god, it's hysterical. Yeah,
I got to give it a chance.
You have to give it a chance. Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely worth definitely worth the watch. Yeah, but you're right. That's gonna be huge. Amon Amarth alone, that's because of them. But then Dethklok on top of it, that's gonna be a killer tour. So yep, the Amonklok Conquest. I also saw Kreator is on tour with Carcass and Cold Steel in May.
That's an interesting bill,
right?
To have a Carcass with Kreator. I mean, they kind of both come from the same parents,
right? Yeah, that's a good description.
But that would be kind of. Sometimes I appreciate shows where the bands are like different, as opposed to like just a slew of 5 grindcore bands in a row. By the third one, I'm like, I'm going home.
Yeah, that's how. There's a Bleed From Within is coming through, but they're playing with like 2 or 3 other bands. And I really just want to see them. So I think I'm going to get a ticket, but like not go until like 9:00. So,
okay.
You know what I mean? So, because I'm old and I don't want to sit there through all these, through all the bands. I give a shit about. So, but because I'm like you too, I was like, I don't need to see that one. Now, nothing against the bands. There's nothing wrong with the bands. I'm just like, I only have so much time during the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
We are all limited in valuable lifetime.
And I also just got my ticket for another show in May by Oransi Pazuzu, the sort of like their technical industrial black metal from Iceland.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where have I seen that name? Did we discuss it?
we talked about them a little bit. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna go. I have tickets for them in May, and you're going to see
Hold on.
Sun
Sun
in
in April
April. Okay, so cool.
and Triumph is in May
Oh, that's right. Where's Triumph playing?
at over in Camden at
Oh,
the
that's right, at the big thing, center thing, whatever it is. Yeah,
yeah.
I
They
don't know.
keep changing the name.
They changed the name of that place like 10 times. I can't
I
keep up
know.
with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. And interestingly about that, 2 weeks ago, I went to pick up a guitar from this dude that lived about an hour away from here. And we were just starting to talk about music. And he goes, uh, I I would love to see, I'm a huge Triumph fan because he was talking about his influences. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you are really? I said, do you know that I could count on one hand all the people that I met in my life that like Triumph?
Oh, I love Triumph.
Not many,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
many.
I know
So
it's a surprisingly small list considering how amazing that band is.
I'm telling you, so he's like, I know they're going to be playing soon. I'd like to get a ticket. And I said, I already got one, man.
Right
You
on.
should get, if you get a ticket, maybe, we'll run into each other there and
Yeah, yeah.
rock out. But
Cool.
yeah.
All right, you got anything else? Any other tour news?
Uh, I not tour news, but the Dead Kennedys are playing what's left of them, the minus
Yeah.
Jello,
Yeah.
right? They're playing some kind of
Uh,
park.
Punk rock in the park, punk in the
Yeah.
park thing. Yeah, I saw something about that, but then they recently decided to not play that.
No, they're going to play it, but they're not going. They're going to disassociate themselves from
Oh,
it.
that's right. They're gonna play that one gig, but then jump out after that.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're like, look, people already bought tickets, and then we're
Right.
not trying to do that. But Biafra was like, I never would have gotten involved in that in the first place.
Yeah,
That's
and,
against everything the Dead Kennedys were about.
well, and the controversy, just so everybody knows, is that the person who organized the festival itself has been they did some investigation. They found out that he was a big MAGA contributor, so he contributed to Trump and all that. And of course, Biafra and those guys in general very anti Trump and government in general. So, but that was where they didn't know when they were getting involved. So that's hence the controversy.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So look for that. But yeah, if you did get tickets for that, just know that they're going to honor that first show. But then after that, they're going to bail after that. All right. Anything else?
I believe that is it.
I believe that's it too. Okay, that was it for this episode. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll be back for episode 7, soon. Thank you for joining us. Please share our podcast with anyone that appreciates heavy music. Be sure to visit our social feeds and drop us a comment with your thoughts on the podcast.